Hello everyone, this is Review. Good morning, good evening, afternoon, whenever it may be that you're watching this. Hello and welcome. I'm the Report of the Week, and this is the Unnamed Drink series where I review drinks of all shapes and sizes, though this series remains ever so mysterious with no actual name given to it. So I just give a long dramatic pause at the beginning of each video like this. This is going to be an interesting review, and I haven't done too many like this, as a matter of fact, though I've done a couple over the years. I have. It's a rare side-by-side comparison where I take two products which are generally competing with each other or very similar in the nature of them, and I compare them on the spot, and you see which one's better and what might be the pros and cons of each. And this is coffee. This is a morning coffee extravaganza. It's the battle of the coffees, I guess you can call it. And what I figured I would do, I wanted to review this new BK Joe coffee, because Burger King is really going all out. They're saying, hey, we redid our morning coffee. We made it bigger and better than ever, and it's called BK Joe. And it's supposed to be good according to Burger King. And I said, how about, since I've never reviewed it before, reviewed either of these before, how about we compare it to McDonald's standard, their McCafé coffee? So, with that being said, I'll make sure I don't spill this stuff all over myself. I got the BK Joe here, and right here, I got the McCafé. You can see right there, McCafé, right here, BK Joe. So I got two cups, both hot coffee, just as served, no modifications given to it, as served. And what we'll do is we're just going to review them in succession. So actually I put the wrong one down, but I want to free up my hands here. I don't want to spill anything either. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to analyze and review the McCafé coffee first. Then I'm going to analyze and review the BK Joe, and then I'll let you know which one is better, essentially. So, it's the McCafé coffee. I'm going to smell it, and I'm going to drink it. Since there's a lot to talk about here, I'm going to jot it down on a piece of paper, and then we're going to move over to the BK Joe, do the same, and then I'll tell you what it all tastes like in the end, alright? So, McCafé standard hot coffee going in. McCafé. It's McCafé from McDonald's. That's right, McCafé in the morning. Alright. The McCafé coffee was... Well, I'm not going to give away the big secret. I'm writing some stuff in shorthand right here. Okay. Got down just the bare thoughts right here. And now we're going to try the BK Joe coffee. Got the famous BK Joe cup. Going in. Okay, took a couple sips of that. Thankfully, neither was hot to the point that it left any sort of, I presume, welt on my tongue or anything from the chemical burns. Let me get down a few things about this. Both of which were $1, by the way, in terms of price. So they're priced exactly the same, you know, so it's not like one is exactly, you know, more expensive than the other. So price will not be a real defining factor since they're priced the same. Alright, let's start with the McCafé then, first. Number one, in terms of color, I'm not a big fan of how they didn't fill the cup up to the top, you know, but for $1, it is, you know, it is what it is. the one thing that I really noticed here is when looking in, and I don't think you can really see it too well, it was very concave in nature, meaning it looked very watered down to me. It just looked like there was this real noticeable, just very watery film on the top of this coffee, you know, and it really did give a watery appearance to it in that regard. So number one, that needs to be noted, that purely from looks, it already did look very watered down. Now, secondly, when I did take these sips of it, my predictions were correct. I jotted that it was indeed watered down, and boy, it certainly was. But that still didn't completely drown out the whole flavor of the coffee itself. Otherwise, it's pretty average tasting. What I would say, though, is it was still fairly pleasant to drink. You know, it wasn't too bitter to the point that, you know, you would be a complete turnoff. It definitely was fairly pleasant to drink, noticeably watered down, though. But the one thing I did like is it had a very, very tiny little hint of sweetness to it as well. Mind you, nothing was added to this additionally, so keep that in mind. Well, before we make any huge comparisons, what did the BK Joe taste like? Well, looking into it, this was actually more convex in terms of appearance. This one didn't really have that type of film on the top that the McDonald's one had. Again, I don't know if you can really see that, but from observations, it didn't look as watered down to me, and that was indeed the case. The one thing, though, of course, is that it was much, much bitter, much more bitter than the McDonald's one. That does need to be taken of note. Now, with that being said, exactly, what else is there in terms of the BK Joe one? Well, one thing that I did really make note of is that I believe, due to that bitterness and less of an emphasis on the actual coffee bean flavor, I think that this is a drink that is much higher in caffeine than the McCafé one. Either that or the caffeine is just much more prominent in this beverage. I think that should be made known. Now, we essentially talked about both a little bit. Now let's draw the comparisons. Which one is better? I know Burger King completely tried to redo theirs and make theirs, you know, wonderful and brand spanking new. But personally, despite the watered down nature of it, I think that the McDonald's one was more pleasant to drink and more enjoyable to drink. And granted, this is the bare basics. You can add your own little things to them. You could add, you know, creamers. You could add sugar if you want. But I think as a bare basic, the McCafé is better, more flavorful, and I think you can do more with it. I think there's more that you can work off of. It gives you a good little stepping stone to build off of it if you want to accommodate it to your personal taste. When it comes to the BK Joe, I think this one is not as good as the McCafé, and if you just want that caffeine fix, you know, if you're out there in the swamps hunting frogs all day, this is the one to go with, okay? More caffeine, get you going through the day, and you know, again, it's not as flavorful, not as pleasurable, very, very bitter, and you know, that needs to be taken note of. With that being said, since they're both the same price, let's give each an individual rating. The McCafé I'm going to rate, I'm going to give it an 8.6 out of 10 because I thought it was pretty good for what it's worth. The BK Joe is just going to get a 7.6 out of 10, a whole point lower in the scale. I think objectively the McCafé is the one to go with here, but as I say with Burger King, if you don't succeed at first, try again. That being said, that was the epic face-off of the two coffee giants, you know, going head up in the ring, and McCafé was the clear winner, McDonald's. They beat Burger King in this scenario. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. I'm your host, Report of the Week, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you again. This is Review. Thank you for watching, and take care.